Immediately seeing Layla standing there, Peter went running off, but Erin had reached out and grabbed him by the collar, pulling him back. She then slammed him up against the wall. Before he could even think about running away again, she placed her hands on his and started to freeze him. "Peter, tell us the truth. Did you really push Vorden into the portal?" she asked. "What are you going to do, hit me?" Peter replied. "Because trust me, I have already had my fair share of pain. Whatever you plan to do to me, go ahead." Erin then started to form a small little needle-shaped ice pick in her hand. "Really, I'm sure there are a few places I could stick this in which would leave you wishing you'd kill yourself." "Peter, I thought they were your friends. You know, every day Quinn would ask about how you were to me. Why didn't you just tell him, or even just tell us what was happening?" "You don't know what would happen if I told you guys. You go beat them up, then what? They would just come back for revenge. But do you think they would go after you, Erin, or Vorden? No, of course not. They would go after me." Peter then started to break down into tears. "I didn't want to do it. I didn't have a choice." Layla had clenched her fist and was ready to punch Peter in the face. Seeing Peter's tearful face, she dropped her hand down to her side. "You're not even worth hitting, Peter. You disgust me." She then turned and walked off and had one last word. "You always have a choice." Inside one of the meeting rooms located in the first-year building, a meeting had been called. Currently sitting at the head of the table was Nathan, and by his side was Faye, who had been in charge of the investigation of the missing 2 students. As they waited, several other teachers started to enter the room. Dell, who was Vorden and Quinn's homeroom teacher, Leo, who was the beast weapons teacher, and finally Haley, the school's doctor. "Faye, would you please inform the others of why they have been called here today?" Nathan asked. Faye then stood up with a report held in her hand. "As you have been made aware, 2 of our students have gone missing, and due to that, we have had to delay the first year's outing. However, if this was a simple missing persons case, we would not have called you all out here today." Faye then pressed a button on her controller, and a hologram appeared, revealing a certain planet, and around it, there were 2 moons. The missing students seemed to have entered into a portal, but not just any portal, a red portal. How or why, we do not know, but one of the students was Vorden Blade, an original from a powerful family. The mission is not to bring him back alive, but to at least bring his body back. That way the family can say their goodbyes, and it should calm down their anger. "What about the other student?" Leo asked. "The other student is not a priority. He goes by the name of Quinn Talon, a weak level 1 with no family, or an orphan. There is no need to worry about him." "Do you know where the portal leads to?" Haley asked. "As you can see in the diagram, the red portal leads to an abandoned planet named Pyoletic. It was one of the very first planets the human race had ever created a shelter on. It was safe for the most part, but as the place was filled with weak beasts. However, that was until a year had passed and nightfall had come. Beasts stronger than we had ever seen before came and attacked the shelter. We had no choice but to abandon the place," Faye explained. "This is why we have called you 4, Nathan said as he stood up. "The 4 of you will head out through the red portal immediately. Don't worry, our latest reports say that the beasts that attacked the shelter have long since moved on. The place is mostly filled with Rataclaw scum and the odd intermediate beast here and there." Dell slammed his fist onto the table. "Why should we risk our lives for a couple of students who may have just jumped into the portal themselves? Would you like to be the one to go to the Blade family and explain to them why their son has died and gone missing? How, even though we insisted on these watches to keep track of where they are, we still weren't able to keep an eye on them?" Nathan said. "This is an order, not a request." Meanwhile, Layla was still worrying over Quinn. "Don't worry too much," Erin said. "If Vorden is with him, he will protect his friend." But she was more worried that Vorden might be used as an emergency ration during the trip, more than anything. As they were walking through the hallway, they noticed that a group of students were gossiping, and as they walked past, they heard Vorden's name being mentioned. "What did you say?" Layla asked. "Would you mind repeating that?" "We were just talking about the missing students. Dumbo here has the ability of super hearing, and had heard in the meeting saying that Vorden was stuck on a red portal planet." "Do you remember anything else? The name of the planet, if another student went with them?" Erin said. Yeah, they said the planet's name was Pyoletic, and they said something about Quinn being there as well." Layla then got out of Dumbo's face and immediately started rushing towards her room. "I'm sorry, Erin, I've got to run somewhere. Thanks for all the help." Layla had rushed off towards her dorm room as quickly as she could after hearing about what planet they were on. As she entered the room, she locked the door behind her and placed a chair on the handle. Her roommate luckily wasn't in at the moment. She then bent down under her bed and pulled out a small little box. As she opened the box, a circular black sphere-shaped ball was inside. She then tapped the top of the sphere, and a clicking sound was heard. A white ring started to light up and went around in circles for a few seconds before it finally completely lit up.
Agent 83, what seems to be the problem?
A voice said from the ball.
Is it to do with the mission?
I have found someone who will be of great help in our cause. However, it appears he is stuck somewhere. Would you be able to check if there are any agents on a planet named Pyoletic? Layla asked.
Give me a few moments. I'm afraid all our agents have left that planet a while ago. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that is it, thank you, Layla said.
Then may I wish you luck in your mission. May Pure be with you.
May Pure be with you, Layla replied.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.